While some celebs age like fine wine and barely look a day older, others aren't so lucky. Time keeps rolling and that once smooth, glowing skin gets replaced by wrinkles and fine lines. Some stars end up looking so different from their younger selves that they're practically unrecognizable. Check out these celebs who aged terribly. Before we start, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and let's get into it. If you're a fan of the American Pie franchise, you definitely remember Tara Reid, the blonde bombshell who played Vicky in the first, second, and eighth movies. Back then, with all that fame, she was getting tons of offers, and like many actresses from her era, she went under the knife, despite already fitting the Hollywood beauty standard. And you know what they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unfortunately, those cosmetic procedures didn't do her any favors. Throw in years of partying, alcohol, and other substances, and her looks took a major hit. To top it off, she overdid the fake tans, sometimes looking more like Trump than a Hollywood star. Nowadays, she's been laying low and at 49 is rocking a super slim figure. Some fans have even voiced concerns about her health, but she insists she's happy with how she is. One of the most iconic TV shows of the last few decades is Friends, and part of its success was thanks to its amazing cast, including Matthew Perry as one of the main characters. But the beloved Chandler Bing struggled after the show ended. He landed a few more roles, but his battles with addiction took a toll. He disappeared from the spotlight for years, and when a paparazzo finally snapped a pic of him holding a milkshake, he was simply unrecognizable. Sure, he was 54, but the drastic change wasn't just about aging. It was the result of a rough lifestyle. In his later years, Matthew worked on his recovery and even released a book sharing his story. Sadly, he passed away in 2023, leaving fans heartbroken. The 90s classic Baywatch made Pamela Anderson a total sex symbol, but of course, time catches up with everyone. It's been over 20 years since the show ended, but she's not the only one. Her co-star, Yasmin Bleeth, also looks worlds apart from her prime when she was one of TV's biggest beauties. She let life take its course, and now she looks like my Aunt Karen. It's almost impossible to believe it's the same person. A little weight gain, messy hair, and some full-on mom outfits make her nearly unrecognizable, especially for those who remember her rocking that famous red swimsuit. These days, Yasmin is 56 and living a low-key life far from the Hollywood spotlight. One of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world is the Italian brand Versace. After founder Gianni Versace's tragic passing, his sister Donatella took over. She was once seen as a beauty icon and was basically the face of the brand, even though she wasn't a model herself. Whenever she stepped out in Versace, heads turned and she made headlines. But Donatella developed a dangerous addiction to cosmetic procedures. She kept tweaking her face to the point where it became uncontrollable. Every time she showed up in public, she looked slightly different, and when age finally caught up with her, all those procedures came back to haunt her. Doctors eventually told her to lay off the Botox, which caused her previous work to fade, bringing all the wrinkles and lines she'd been hiding for years back at once, making her look anything but natural. Today, Donatella is 69 and still running the brand, but her looks continue to be a hot topic whenever she makes an appearance. One of the biggest heartthrobs of the 70s and 80s was Nick Nolte. He worked as an actor for years, but actually started out as a model when he was just a teenager. His square, symmetrical face basically set the gold standard for old school movie hunks. Dude was the blueprint. Even though he had a career spanning about 4 decades, he actually became more famous for the roles he didn't take. Believe it or not, he turned down Indiana Jones, Superman, and even Star Wars. This guy wanted nothing to do with being a hero. But time passed, life happened, and today, the same women who had a crush on young Nick Nolte wouldn't even recognize him if he walked right past them. Now, at 84, he lives a quiet life and rarely makes public appearances. Demi Moore is one of those stars everybody has heard of. Her most famous movies include Ghost, Charlie's Angels, and voicing Esmeralda in Disney's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. More recently, she starred in the critically acclaimed The Substance. Decades in Hollywood and years being labeled one of the most beautiful women in film, until a 2021 photo of her went viral, showing that age had officially come knocking. But Demi wasn't happy with that version of herself, so she went for the good old plastic surgery. It did make her look younger, but with a strange, almost doll-like face. This became even more obvious when she hit the runway. Her new look shocked a lot of people, and to be honest, it wasn't her best moment. Plastic surgeons and beauty experts speculated that she might have gotten a poorly done filler treatment that left her looking that way. But hey, at the end of the day, if she feels good about it, that's what matters. And apparently, Demi Moore is totally happy with her transformation. It's not just Hollywood actors who struggle with aging. Music icons aren't immune to it either. Take Axl Rose, for example. Unless you spent the 90s lost in the Amazon, you've definitely heard a Guns N' Roses song at some point. The band's front man was once named Sexiest Man Alive by multiple magazines. After a long break from the public eye, he showed up at an awards show, and according to my aunt, he wasn't looking half bad. But from that point on, it was all downhill. He gained weight, got older, and let's be honest, photographers didn't do him any favors, catching him in the worst possible angles. Some pics were so bad that he even formally requested a company take them down. Why? Because the photo set became an internet meme factory, and Axl was not happy about it. But you know how the internet works. Once it's out there, there's no taking it back. One actress who defined the early 2000s was Gina Davis, best known for playing Stuart Little's mom. But long before that, she was a major star and even one of the most stunning actresses of her era. After all, she started out as a model. Years in the industry also meant years of aging. And well, wrinkles happen. Just look at the difference between her Oscar-winning night in 1989 and this more recent photo. She stayed off the radar during quarantine and finally made a rare public appearance in LA in 2023, looking very different. She still acts, directs, and does voice work, but she's admitted that her age and appearance have cost her roles. When she stepped out in broad daylight, some people said she was unrecognizable, but honestly, judging by that outfit, I think that was the goal. Back in the 90s, Val Kilmer was straight up a Hollywood heartthrob, like peak movie star material. Early in his career, he was a total teen icon, and it wasn't just about his looks. The guy could act, and that combo made him one of the most sought-after actors in the industry. His movies were massive hits worldwide, turning him into a household name. Kilmer was everywhere. Comedy, action, drama, you name it. And with that leading man charm, it was only natural that he landed the role of Bruce Wayne in Batman Forever, 1995. He never really stopped working, but from 2012 to 2017, he pretty much disappeared from the public eye. He eventually came back, doing a few projects here and there, but then life threw him a curveball. Cancer. The aggressive treatment and medications aged him fast, and he had to undergo a tracheostomy, which completely changed his voice. In an interview, he reassured fans that he was doing better than he looked, even though the physical toll was obvious. And in a twist of good news, he recently announced that he's cancer-free. The only thing he truly misses, his original voice. Kilmer even returned for Top Gun, Maverick, but since he could no longer speak normally, they used AI to recreate his voice for the film. In the US, being a pro basketball player isn't just a career, it's a golden ticket. Fame, fortune, and respect come with the game, and Delonte West had it all when he played in the NBA from 2004 to 2015. But while he was making moves on the court, his personal life was a whole different story. Scandals, bad decisions, and worst of all, a deep struggle with substance abuse sent his life into a downward spiral. The addiction likely worsened his mental health, making it even harder for him to manage his finances. The guy who once had millions in the bank ended up blowing it all to feed his addiction. And then came the biggest shock. An ex-NBA player who had been one of the league's top earners ended up homeless, begging on the streets. The transformation was so extreme that he became almost unrecognizable. Despite everything, he's trying to turn his life around. He's in recovery and has even expressed interest in making a comeback to professional basketball. Honestly, I'm rooting for him. If he can fully break free from addiction, there's still hope for him to rebuild his life, because talent, At that, he's gotten spades. Lonnie Willison was once the definition of a bombshell, blonde, gorgeous, and a favorite of top luxury brands. On top of that, she was in a high-profile relationship with actor Jeremy Jackson, Baywatch, good-looking boyfriend, money in the bank, and a career most people could only dream of. She was living the ultimate American dream, but no amount of fame or fortune could protect her from the harsh reality that mental health struggles don't discriminate. The former model, once gracing international runways, is now living on the streets. According to The Sun, in 2016, she suffered a major mental breakdown and was never able to bounce back. From there, she spiraled into heavy drug use, burning through all her savings to support her addiction. Eventually, she lost her apartment after falling deep into debt and ended up homeless. And things only got stranger. Lonnie claims she can't live in a fixed location because she's being hunted by a secret organization. Sounds like pure paranoia, most likely fueled by drug use. When interviewed, she insisted she's fine living like this and doesn't want anyone's help. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.